Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. 12th of July, market is due open in just under a minute. So after that push down yesterday, we've just literally been going sideways for the latter part of the afternoon. So you will notice we've had that news spike, and I made a bit of a cock up. I took that short there. We had a channel down, second entry short. I took that short, quite a small bar just on one account, but I'd forgotten the news, and the thing rocketed down. Hey Speedy, how you doing, bud? The thing rocketed down and it never closed. I think it closed in Ninja Trader, but it stayed open in Rhythmic, so I had to close it manually, and by the time I'd managed to close it, it was down, it was up, or it made me $870. So I got to really pay attention to that. It's the first time I've traded the news accidentally for a long time, so the trouble is it can potentially damage you. So see how we get on today. We have got some medium impact news, some prelim inflation expectations, but medium impact doesn't really do anything lately. I don't even mark it on my chart, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We had that big leg down. How much did it move? It went down by, well, just under 80 points. Let's say 6 points if you count that spike down. But yeah, from start to finish, I did say I wouldn't be shocked if we hit 100 points. So with 78 points, it came down. But it did start bouncing there of the lows from a couple of days ago, which I thought it might do. I did think we might get some sort of rally by the end of the day, but it didn't, and it's continued to go sideways. So it does, you know, I do wonder whether we're going to get another leg down. It's hard to say. So, okay, so we're going sideways clearly. That's the highest we've been. We're bouncing off these highs, so let's see if this breakout fails. But it's clearly we've started the overnights, highs and lows, all just going sideways. So this thing is rejecting. Let's see how far it comes down. But so I noticed. I looked at. Have a look some of the other streamers, and I noticed Volatility Trader lost a couple of accounts. Alpine got absolutely hammered. He was down 30 odd grand. But what was absolutely shocking me is it was coming down constantly all day, and he took 5 longs in a row, which I kind of don't understand. You wouldn't expect a guy of his sort of caliber to be able taking 5 long trades in a downtrending market. It just doesn't make sense. And every time he took a trade, he was just getting stopped out and stopped out. I was just waiting for him to twig that. Why am I going long when the market was just, I mean, you can see how bearish it was yesterday. It just did not stop. Every time it hit something, it just kept on going and kept on going. But he seemed to get really hammered. But he was down 30 odd grand, which is crazy, isn't it? Not that he's short of a bit of money. I wonder if there is a channel moving up here. I did mark this earlier. Let's have a look. It's possible. It's hard to say. Until we get back above this, I'm just going to consider this as a breakout, which may fail. So far we're in. See if we get a lower high. But my slight concern is as we're pushing up, we are moving. There's sort of almost an imaginary line here that it's using as support. So I don't automatically want to go short here, because if you'd have gone short, that one, for instance, if you'd have taken that short, it triggered you and stopped you out. So, okay, possible second entry long. Now that's really interesting. Trouble is, because we are going sideways, I can't take that long, unfortunately. If we get a higher low, then yeah, I'll have a go. But this here could be a fail breakout, which means that could be a failure. It may come down and stop out that bull bar. But because we're bouncing along that imaginary line, I can't get short either. Is it going up? It looks like it's going up, doesn't it? Let's see if we get a high low here. Trap some shorts. Possible fail second entry long. Trap some shorts. Let's see. So there is a failure, a long failure there coming up. Let's see if that triggers. If that triggers and it hits that AMA and pushes up, I may go long. It's hard to say though, isn't it? At the moment, it is going sideways, so you've got to be so careful. Just part of the range. I didn't buy this. Okay, so that bar's triggered. Tough one, isn't it? I have a feeling this is going to come down now. Or is it? So that is a second entry long, which is triggered, and this is a possible failure. Right, I don't like that. It's sat on top of that EMA, and it's more of a kind of a neutrally bar, isn't it? So you can guarantee there's going to be liquidity there and there. There's a double amount there. So I think it's going to come down. In fact, you may even say there's a triple bounce there. Think how much liquidity is there. Yeah, I thought as much. I'll be amazed if that doesn't pick up that lot there. It's bound to, surely. See, look at this. What are you doing here? It's unsafe to trade here at the moment because we've had this breakout which looks like it's failing, but it's still coming down, so I'm just not ready to go long. Because it could do anything. It could do either or here. I thought it would take out these areas here, but it didn't. But it's still quite choppy, so there is a higher low there, but look at this. We could have a little. It's still not breaking. Each one of these are lower than the previous one, so I can't go long now. Look at that. Look how bearish that is now. God, it's so tempting, that is. It's liquidity there and there. If this thing breaks below there, that's going to drop like a stone. But that's too rich for my blood. Sat on that EMAC, so one thing I will say is there's going to be some traps here. There's multiple traps forming there. If you'd have gone long there, you're in that. But there's a lot of liquidity there. There. It's got to come down, surely. Just haven't got a decent enough setup bar, that's the problem. There's such a lot of liquidity, isn't there? There, and there. That's a huge amount, that is. Surely if we pick up that, that'll take us down to the bottom of the channel. But there's also some slightly higher up, so whether it'll wick up, take them out, and then come back down. See, I'm going to get rid of that now. I may take that channel up a bit to there. See, there is kind of a channel up. So this thing could go up. Trouble is, because we've been ranging and we haven't hit that high again yet, this thing could still come down, but it is starting to look like it's on its way up. Still not pushed up to this high. This just could, because of this sort of break out the bottom here. We could get something similar here. I'm not ready to go long or short just yet. Took that lower high, did you? Done for Friday. Good on you, mate. That's what you want. Lower high, you mean higher low? That one there, did you? Yeah, I looked at it. My only slight concern is because we've been going sideways, this could fail. But if you believe in that line, if you believe in that line, and I'm looking at Thomas Wade's Discord here, and there is a few people with that. Yeah, Thomas Wade's got that up with it. In fact, he's got that push up with a break. So actually, yeah, maybe. So he's got that with a break. So we've got kind of two legs down. So that actually doesn't look too bad. It's worried a bit too. It's under the EMA, yeah. The trouble is, when it's like this, when we get that initial first breakout, we did pull back, but then we push straight back over the EMA. So we are trying to go higher. And what I will say is literally from the latter part of yesterday afternoon, it's continued to go sideways. But there is some support there. You can see it. We've bounced that first time and we're hitting it again. So this thing, I really wouldn't be surprised. I know Al Brooks has been talking about a 10% drop because it's so overbought. So that could just be our first leg. It really could. We've hit a low here. This is like a penguin style trade. We could have one attempt to go higher and then a second attempt to go higher, which it kind of looks like it. And then we could absolutely tank again. Kind of looked at it as a triple test, even though second adrenaline's gone a better, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could have two pushes and then followed by another drop. It's a possibility, but you can kind of see the two legs, can't you? In fact, what I might do is just put a measured leg there and just see where that comes to. Look at that. So that's touching right at the bottom. That's right to the nearest. Sorry about that. That's right to the nearest tick. Right on the touch there. We've actually pushed above it now, but we've got this big channel with a couple of legs up and then two pushes down to a new low. So I've got this as a measured leg. So let's have a look. So Thomas Wade's got that as a first break there. So maybe we've had a break. Two pushes up to a new high. It's hard to say, but we've pushed above that measured move now. So I'm going to bend that. But just because it's gone a bit high doesn't mean it still can't come down. So yeah, if any of you noticed, I'm $870 up in one of my accounts. I traded one of my accounts. That bar there, at the time I had my top of the range there, and we broken out of it, had a nice channel there, and it was a second entry short, quite a small bar, and I got in the trade, put my stop above there, and the thing absolutely tanked. I'd completely forgotten about the news, and it went straight through my profit and just kept going. Rhythmic didn't close. It closed down in Ninja, but it didn't close down in Rhythmic. So by the time I noticed it, manually closed it, it was up $870. So I'll take that as a little bonus. But there you go. This thing looks like it might continue up, so I'm just going to extend that. But yeah, it's not often I get lucky like that. So I'm quite amazed I actually traded the news, something I never do. I did it once and it went the opposite way. So Thomas Wade's got that. Let me have a look. Oh no, he's added it now. He's added it. He's extended it. So it's tough on that. We've still got two legs up. If it doesn't go higher, we could get another leg down from this high level. It'd be interesting to see there. I'm just going to put a little square around there just as an area of interest. That's not very good. Let's find something else. Circle. So let's just see if that becomes a high point in a possible another leg. It just tells me if I'm reading these legs. I watch a lot of the Penguin guy, and this looks like a leg to me with a break, 2 attempts to go higher, and then 2 pushes down to a new low, and that to me kind of like a reversal pattern. We're clearly bouncing there, and we push up, we go sideways, and we go up, down, up, down, up, down. Now we're up to this kind of sort of this leg. Now that to me would be 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, forgetting all the crap between it. But that looks like the type of setup that Penguin would look for. Why market so dry and did not get any clear setup over the last month? It's been hard trading lately, mate. It has. Sometimes it's like this. It tends to favour us whenever we get kind of bad news. So when COVID was here, there was just, when I first started trading about 3.5 years ago, but 3 years trading price action, there was loads more setup. I was averaging 2 or 3 setups a day, sometimes more. But it's just gone naff. So as you sort of get more experience, you'll notice more. I used to stay away from picking tops and bottoms. I used to stay away from triple tests. But because of the lack of setups, you've just got to kind of expand your vocabulary, so to speak. So let's see if this has a little pullback. But I think this is going to be the top of the tree, I think. Well, it's a rough... call that a rough... Let's call it a guesstimate. But that to me does look like 2 attempts to go higher, forgetting this news. 1 leg. After we've kind of bottoming, 1 attempt, 2nd attempt, and that's pushed really strongly through that AMA. It may take it out, but it'd be interesting to see. Excuse me a sec. It's going back up, I think, isn't it? Unless it's it would have worked for something anyway. Where would have you got out? No, but I did look at it, but we're going up at the moment, so it's not a trade I would normally take. But it did go down for 6 points. We have another news coming up at 10. Yeah, it's medium impact. It never really does much. I've never known it to mess me around in a trade before. So I'm not really concerned about it too much. We'll see what happens, see if it does do something, but it never really does, in all honesty. I never bother with it anymore. Yeah, so that would have got taken out, but there is high impact news on my chart. Oh shit, yeah, there is. Sorry, my mistake. I was looking at this. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, it is red news. Sorry, I was looking at this. I didn't see the 15. I thought this was... Yeah, you're right. Well spotted. Well spotted. You better mark that. So me accidentally getting into 2 lots of news in one day. I'm definitely not on my game, am I? I've already made a mistake once, and I think I got extremely lucky. Could have gone the opposite direction. So yeah, it is, isn't it? So 3 o'clock. UK time. 1500 UK time. Yeah, let's not forget that. Silly me. iPad news. Brilliant. Yeah, I'm glad you spotted that. For some reason, I didn't notice. I just saw that and just assumed. Secretly wanted another news trade. Shall I actually tell you the truth? Shall I tell you the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I actually, that $870 was actually $1,500. But $1,500, which means I've got to get that account to $5,500 before I could take a payment. And not only that, my average day, a good day for me, is $200 account. So I thought, if it goes up to $1,500, it's going to ring alarm bells. So I purposely lost a couple of trades just to get it down to within that 30% so I could withdraw at 3,000. It's much more believable, $870. So yeah, it was a lot more. So that's the truth. I didn't. Well, it's not that I wasn't going to tell you. I just thought, it was a bit of a long-winded version, but yeah, it just absolutely flipping tanked. But yeah, it was about $1,500, so I lost some purposely. Because if all of a sudden my biggest day is showing at 200 and all of a sudden it shows at 1,500, the people are going to ask questions. And if they realised, and not only that, I'd have to get that to over 5,000, so I didn't want it to stick out, so I took a couple of purpose losses on it, just to even the story a bit. So, consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So it was a PPI, wasn't it, which was slightly on the negative side. It's weird, isn't it? So we had slightly negative news and the market's going up. Yesterday, we had positive news and the market came down. It doesn't seem to make much sense, does it? Trade 250, eval yesterday on the news, closed it at 15. Good on you. Problem was it hit 43. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. It could hit $100,000. It don't matter on the evaluation, but yeah, sometimes it does go crazy. I'm lucky actually, because if it had gone the other direction, I could have lost that account. So I'm kind of glad it happened because it woke me up a bit. It just goes to show how you've got to be so careful. You've only got to forget once. And if you're trading 10 of your accounts, Christ. Imagine if I'd have had 10 accounts up there, I'd have been up $15,000 in a couple of seconds. But I'd have struggled to explain that away because you're not supposed to trade the news, are you? Not unless it's part of your normal routine, which is why I decided to lose some of it so it wouldn't stick out. A $1,500 trade in someone who averages 200 profit is going to stick out. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the 250 accounts, you've got to get $15,000. That's a lot of money to get. I mean, pound for pound, if you think about the $50,000, you got to get 3,000, haven't you? So it's 15,000. It's such a huge amount. So I think a lot of people trade them on the news, in all honesty. When did you get these PAs passed? The most recent one was passed about 5 weeks ago, but the rest are between 3 months and 5 weeks, something like that. But one, I've taken it really slowly. I only trade 10 at a time because Arrhythmic's just untrustworthy. And the trouble is, you might go for a week or so without trading one lot of 10. So it does take a little bit longer. But once I can get them up, then I can breathe a sigh of relief. And then also, I went back to one contract and it took the pressure off, and I took some risky trades and ended up losing a chunk. So I'm just sort of finding my sort of comfort zone at the moment. You're at 3, slowly adding, yeah. I mean, what I'll say to you, and what I'll say to anybody else listening, kind of newish or inexperienced, I would always say this: when you're new, only ever get one evaluation, and then when you pass it, only ever get one PA until you can properly trade the account and get it up to PA payment level. I wouldn't consider getting more, really. Now, some YouTubers will tell you to get as many as you can. Now, as you know, if you use my code, I get commissions, and some YouTubers, none that I know, but some YouTubers will just quite happily tell you to get as many as you can, but it's not the right thing to do, because if you're copy trading, say 5 of them and you blow one, you blow in 5. So it's madness. I know how much it costs because I've done it myself. And I don't want to tell anybody to just take loads of them because it's the wrong thing to do. Trading's frustrating and hard enough as it is without, so I'd say definitely keep control of your purse strings because it's very, very easy to get through money, even with prop firms. Get them while they're cheap. Get one. Just trade one. You don't need to trade a dozen of them unless you can, hold PAs. Because if you copy trading them and you blow one, you're blowing them all. So it's costing you 10 times the amount or 5 times the amount. So, but if you can keep PAs and you can make a bit of money from them, that's the time then to slowly grow them. I actually had a breakthrough with my psychology because I had problems for another year and a half of blowing accounts and accounts and accounts. And then something changed for me. There's a piece of software that's out called Guardian Angel. And I think it's about $399. And what it is basically is you sort of download it and you set up certain trading parameters in the coal light a day. So maximum daily loss, say 2 trades and whatever. And it actually physically locks you out so you can't trade. You can also set things like timeouts. So if after a loss, it blocks you for, say, 30 minutes or 15 minutes or an hour, just to kind of give you time to recover. So there's loads of different settings. It's a great bit of software. And they had a few problems with it. But I was talking to John and Dean, who come in this stream from time to time, and they said it had been improved and they use it. So I kind of decided to buy it. So I said to myself, it was on a Tuesday, whatever, come the weekend, I'm going to buy it. And when I decided to do that, I kind of just relaxed. And I had a loss, and I walked away at the end of the day, something I could have never have done. And then a couple of days later, I lost 2 and walked away again. So I thought, I felt something changed. And then ever since then, this was probably the first week or 2 in March, ever since then, I can take losses. I don't get stressed. I don't panic. I don't revenge trade. I used to shut down the stream but I never actually bought it. Yeah, I was, but I never actually bought it. That's the thing. But when I remember decided in my head I'm going to buy it, I kind of relaxed because I felt finally I've got an answer. Because I had enough skills, I could make money. I had enough skills to start to make money, but I just couldn't keep it because the emotions. It's frustrating when you know you've got enough skills to win more trades than you lose, but you can't control emotions. So it kind of, I've described it like, if you're in a bad marriage and, all of a sudden you decide to go to counselling, you kind of relax or get on better. It's weird. So yeah, something just changed and it's never come back. I could trade 10 accounts now and lose $200 on each account or $250. That's $2,500 and I can walk away. So, yeah, exactly. You do get that sick of feeling. And in all honesty, it's a bloody horrible feeling, trading uncontrollably. You feel like a complete addict. I've never really been addicted to anything. I've been lucky that way. I smoked a bit when I was younger, but I could always stop it. But I really found it was almost like a different person in me. If I lost the trade, you guys would probably remember, I'd go, that's it, I'm done for the day. The second that stream was shut, I'd be clicking the buy button half a dozen times. I'd be getting in 10 contracts and I'd either win me money back or I'd blow the account. And I could not control it. But in the end, I felt physically sick. I'd stopped trading after, if I was trading for 20 minutes on tilt, my heart would be pounding. And I remember one day sitting downstairs and I was sweating and my heart continued to pound for about 45 minutes. It was weird. And yeah, like you say, Bud, you're kind of at a tipping point. I know some US guy, I can't remember his name now, phoned me up about a year ago and he said, you need to get that sick of losing that something changes in your mind, and whether it was that point that, tipped the balance or something. I don't know, but it's never been back since. So And the frustrating thing is, I've kind of waited 3.5 years for this, and all of a sudden we got no bloody setups, so, which is another annoying thing. But what I will say is, if you can trade the markets when it's like this, there's not a lot of setups, and you've got to be really savvy about your trades. You know, if we do end up getting volatility in the, you know, the next period of bad news or something, then it's kind of train hard, fight easy type scenario. But yeah, I will say, you know, if you guys are going through this psychological stuff, you know, I read so many books, I tried hypnosis, I tried everything, and nothing really worked. And the only thing that did work was just time. So, you know, if you are struggling, don't give up. Just keep plugging away, and I believe something changes. You can't have that same nervous, scary feeling day in and day out every single day without something changing. It's impossible. I wonder if that's like a channel with an overshoot. Not sure about that. It's definitely an overshoot. But yeah, it's weird. Okay, we've had some news. Whether that was part of it, maybe. But yeah, I never actually bought the software, funnily enough, because it went away, and then I just thought, all right, I'll give it another week. I kind of know it's there in the back of my head that I could have it, and I've kind of got an answer to me prayers, so to speak. And yeah, just never came back. So what is going on here? We had to have a bit of a pullback, but I'll be surprised if we do take it all back. In fact, what I may do is just let's find out how far back we come. So, do I add that news? I don't think it really matters, does it? If I add the news, we're coming up to the 50% level now. So what I might do, let's just put a little line there. So we're at the 50% off right to the very bottom after that spike of news, but I wouldn't pay, I don't think that's as important. So I'm just going to put that there. And then I'm going to take it up to the lows of yesterday's lows before that news and just put another little line, which is there. So that, I would say that one is probably more important. So I'm going to make that one red. Just see what happens. So let's call that a possible 50 in that one. Went too far for me to be an overshoot. That one there. Yeah. See, because of this possible area, well, sometimes when it gets so far, it just continues up that little bit. But yeah, let's see if we can maybe adjust this, see if it fits somehow. Let's put it to there and just bring that down to there. Wouldn't that be ironic? I'm not sure about this. So let's just say we've had a break and a new high, but it is always possible we could just be in another little channel. I'm not sure whether it is or not. Kind of might not be. I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's I think we just sit on this. It's actually losing a bit of momentum here, so so that news didn't actually affect us. It's weird how some news. What I will say is it's usually this core PPI and CPI that seem to have the biggest moves. I don't know how many times I've sat in here through other bits of news, and it tends to it's a bit of an anticlimax. So I think it's the PPI and CPI that tends to generally have the bigger moves up. So see if it is an overshoot, that often has a stronger pullback. So this is kind of a strong pullback, isn't it? It's come back nearly 10 points. Not quite 8 points. So let's have a look. Strong bar there, but it's just too early to take that. Okay, so Thomas Wade has put his, let me have a look. Is it there or there? He's put that there. Is that right? And this kind of fits. Yeah, it does. It's a bit odd because it's only really touched twice, but it doesn't mean it's not. Mind you, did one yesterday that I thought was odd, and in the end it looked about the best one I saw, so... I mean, if you have a leg and it kind of secures that, then I may look for a higher low. Take the colour out of this now because I think it's less of a focus. So channel with a break. I would like to see if it was an overshoot, I'd like to see a correction. So I still expect it to come down below there. So this is interesting. That first line is the 50% pullback from the tops right to the bottom of that new spike. So we've pushed up, we've come back, and we've gone up again. Funnily enough, that is where that 50% move is from the bottom, right there. So let's have a look here. So I would suggest, if you've had this in another push-up, then I would think there probably has been a break. So I'm going to put that back. I'm going to leave that there for a minute, because if that is an overshoot, a lot of times we will push up, make a new high, and then reverse. Okay, let's see what happens here. That's interesting. Just don't like the look of that, though. Okay, so we've hit that 50% mark from yesterday's highs to the lows of yesterday with that spike. Is that right? Looks a bit too much of a gap between that and that. I'm going to get rid of that. So yesterday's lows to yesterday's highs, there's the 50% level. If you take that down lower, we've broken it. So it's where that red line is I've marked anyway. Let's see if this thing's going up. So let's see if I can make this fit. Maybe it's something like that. We've got a touch there, and look at this. So spike in the channel, touch. Touch. So hello, mate. How you doing? I have an uptrend from the wick of the candle, 245. 245. My time. Are you on about here? I did draw that, but I deleted it. You're on about there, are you? Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I did it to there initially, but we've had a bounce back. You're on fire, mate. You are. I was talking about you for 10 minutes yesterday. In fact, I even opened your channel up. I was impressed with that the other day. You're killing it at the moment, mate. You are. I like the fact that you put your profit where you want it and you just leave it, and you wait for the market to come to you. I'm panicking after a point. You're welcome, mate. I was saying to people on the stream yesterday, I brought up your website to, if you want some inspiration for trading the market, especially breakouts, that's definitely one of your strong points, that is. I tend to look at them, but I'm not as confident yet, so I tend to just earmark them and just eye them up, and look at that. Straight up to that 50% there and touched it. But now you're on fire, mate. You're doing really well. The only thing that's concerning me at the moment, today's extremely, I don't know about how you feel about it. I'm hearing so many stories and so many messages about, about the rhythmic issues and people having counts blown. Now, I haven't had so much problems. What I tend to get is on the odd occasion, it'll be opening NinjaTrader, but that'll be closed. And then if that happens, I just don't click the close button. All I do is disconnect NinjaTrader and reconnect it, and it disappears. And what a lot of people are doing, I think, is clicking close. Or when you click close, it opens up an order here. So I'm just wondering whether all these problems, or a lot of the problems people are having, it's relatively easy to resolve it if you know kind of how. But then you're asking, people are saying about these ghost orders. Is it because they're clicking close on NinjaTrader and it's opening up an order? So I have only ghost trade issues, but I've changed copy for Replicanto, but issues are they really? Yeah, it's hard to know. My only frustration is, I like Apex. My only frustration is if you sell a package to somebody and take their money, as part of that package, you specify they have to use a particular type of software, then if it goes wrong, I think you have to take responsibility for it. It's like me owning a holiday company, and then I employ maybe local drivers, a local coach company to pick people up from the airport and the holiday destination. If they don't turn up, it's still my responsibility because, it's part of my package. I need to make sure they get safely to their destination. I can't say, well, I'm sorry, it's not our company. You're going to have to make your own way there. So that's my only issue with Apex, really. But don't get me wrong. I understand it's frustrating for them as well, because when things do go wrong, they're probably getting 1,000,001 emails, which they got to, sort through. So they don't want the headache as well. But who was it said? Who was it said the other day? It was Karina said the other day that apparently in 3 months they're moving data provider to a different data provider. Right? I haven't sort of confirmed or denied it, but that's what she said. So it'd be interesting. I haven't had any issues with occasionally orange. Yeah, the orange orders I'm not too concerned about. I believe that might be an NinjaTrader issue. But what I have found occasionally, orders will close in Rhythmic, but one or two of them will stay open in NinjaTrader. But if you click close, which a natural thing to do is, that close then opens an opposite order in Rhythmic. And I'm just wondering if that's what people are doing and they're not noticing it. Now, when I first started trading, I never used to have any Rhythmic windows open, but I do now. So you need to kind of know what's going on. So whether maybe a lot of people are more inexperienced and they're not noticing that orders are opening Rhythmic, they're just seeing NinjaTrader, which they've got on their screen anyway, and clicking close. So, Karina, how you doing? Daryl said that. Well, that'd be interesting. I think they need to do something for their own sanity, because, people are going to get frustrated with it. And obviously, it must be an absolute headache for Apex as well. No, I don't click close yet. If you ever get any issues, folks, if you ever see, always have, I've got on here, you can see my top left of your screen. I always have the positions and orders tabs. So if I open an order ready, it sits there. As soon as it triggers, it sits in the positions tab. So what tends to happen sometimes is you can see there my positions tab in Rhythmic. They close as they should do. But for some reason, out of my 10, sometimes one or two stay open in NinjaTrader, and when you click close, you actually open, I believe, an opposite order in Rhythmic. And I think that's what people are doing, and because they haven't got Rhythmic on their screen, they're not noticing it, and all of a sudden they're wondering why their account is blown or 1,000 down. So hopefully that is the ghost issues that they're having. But as long as you know what to do, it's not a major problem. But I would love to trade all 20 accounts, but if something does go wrong, I can't handle losing 20. 10 I can live with, but I'd be hanging from a tree if I lost all 20. So yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But I do wonder whether a lot of those issues are down to people not realising when they click close in NinjaTrader that Rhythmic's opened a position. So yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? But yeah, I did mention yesterday, go and look at Bart's channel. He's an excellent trader. He's incredibly good at picking breakouts, fail breakouts. But what I admire about you is, I was watching a trade you took the other day, and you put your profit down here, and you let it run, and you just didn't move it. I know sometimes when they go sideways you get out, but you kind of wait for the market to come to you. And I like that. It shows a lot of balls, that does. Balls that I haven't got at the moment. I'm going to rest. It's been a tough week. Yeah, you have a good mate. You're welcome, mate. Credit where credit's due. Yeah, you have a good rest, mate. This is interesting. We pushed up and nicked that 50% pullback from yesterday's high. So whether that does anything. Well, hopefully, Karina. We haven't heard much from Daryl lately, I've got to say, have we? He's been quite quiet. you could probably do with saying something, because I am reading lots of kind of negative stuff. And I think sometimes you've got to come forward as a boss and just say, look, this is the problem, but we are working on it, and you know, put people's mind at rest. But yeah, hopefully, if we can get these rhythmic issues sorted and get to a provider that's a bit more reliable, I may start trading. Because I know Wilson trades all 20 of his. Trouble is, if something goes wrong, I'm hoping I'm just a little bit too paranoid, which is why I'm trading 10. But I just don't trust it at the moment. I can't. I just couldn't live with losing all 20 of them. I wouldn't be happy with losing 10, but at least you've got something, haven't you? If you lose everything, you're kind of screwed. Back to the drawing board. So this is interesting. So we had that big drop yesterday and a load of sideways, and so far we had that negative news followed by a push up. And yesterday we had positive news followed by a drop down. It's weird, isn't it? But we did come down and we kind of hit support there, so I wonder whether this is just we're going to go back and tackle these highs, I suppose. Maybe. So look at that. We've pushed up, hit that 50% right on the nail. We've pulled back and done it again. Weird is that? Yeah, so Taylor has done this as like 2 channels. He's done that like that, I think. And then a new channel up. Break, new channel up. So we are getting a little bit of sideways movement here. So okay, that's interesting. So we've got 2 touches on that 50% and a bearish bar now. I wonder if this thing is going to drop. So it could be a break from here and 2 legs up, testing. Let's have a look at that. Breakout, pull back, I wonder. "17 trades. I'll definitely have a look at it later, mate, that's for certain. Okay, so a little bit of sideways, second entry long. Now, I'm just not in the market for a long at the moment or a short. We've bounced right off that 50% line, so that may trigger breakout, pullback, and come down. Or it may open a wider channel. No. Okay, so if you think this is a channel, break and a push up. See when it's that level again. Uh, I just have a feeling this thing's going to drop. Touch, touch. I like the way we're touching 1, 2, 3 times at the top. Same again, look at that. Bounced up and touched that 50% off level 3 times now. Hmm. Still struggling to close above it. There is one thing. There is another one. That can't be a coincidence. 1, 2, 3. I'm just struggling to get it. I mean, it may just push up there, but it's interesting how it is bouncing off that level. So it just goes to show that level's playing some sort of a part. Okay, first close above it. There's nothing you can do up here. In fact, could be a leg and a leg. In fact, I'm just going to take a quick few-minute break now, actually, while it's not doing much. Just getting thirsty. So I'm just going to throw that on there. So I'll let this do its thing. I can't take a trade up here anyway, so let it do its stuff. And I'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Man, this thing's just taking off, isn't it? Wow, look at that. If we don't need that anymore, it's heading for the highs. I'll be surprised if it doesn't get there as well. That second entry doesn't look like a bad trick. No, it's still too far from the EMA, to be honest with you. You don't know whether it's, I mean, that we could have a leg down, could trigger it, bounce off the bottom and come down to the bottom here. You just, there's just nothing you can do, really. What can you do? So, is this an overshoot? I'm not really too convinced. I'll give that the benefit of the doubt. Not that an overshoot's making much difference at the moment. The market's that strong. Looks more like an overshoot on that second chart. Let's put that to there. That to there. Tough one. So, we're not actually a million miles away from that top. $27.5 points, and then we'll have recovered everything left yesterday. In fact, we're very close to yesterday's open before we had that initial spike. So, taking away that initial spike, we're really not far from the open. Yesterday's open for 4.5 points, 4.25 points. Obviously, we had that open, then we had that spike and then a bounce down. But we more or less made all that back. I didn't think we would. Unfortunate, really, apart from that possible one, there's just no entries. Can't really take any of this, it's just going sideways. It's kind of up, so you may have, the trouble is with that one, it's a bit below the EMA, so I left it alone. And then we come back, bounce, push up. We haven't touched the EMA till here. You can't really take that one. That one I think is a bit risky because we've come right to the top. We've made a couple of attempts to go higher. So we could have a leg, a break, test this bottom and have a leg down here, 2 legs down and confirm this line. So that to me was just a bit risky. This market is almost commercial. So we've bounced at that level. You can't pay much attention to that. That was a news. So we're clearly bouncing along here. You can see that. So you'd like to think we're coming up to at least this area somewhere, wouldn't you? So if we can get some sort of a correction here. Oh, I don't know. So let's make a tighter channel here. Trouble is, if you make it there, we've had a break. If you make it there, we've had a break. Maybe it's a bit of a spike in a channel. Trouble is, at any time, it could break this. That's the trouble. You just can't take anything up here. That far from the EMA, at any time, it could just trap along and come down. Tough one. Whichever way you look at it, it's looking like a break, an overshoot. Some 2 potential setups. They're quite aggressive, yeah. You tend to associate, well, normally you tend to associate uptrends with some good, some good setups, but you just don't get set. I mean, granted, if you can get a setup and you can get a good setup, you could potentially, I think these are the type of trades that someone was mentioning yesterday that you don't mind trying to hold on to. If you can get a small risk, what was that? If you can get in on the nail there, which you probably could have done, you're talking let's say a 2-point risk. If you get right on the nail there, let's say a 2.25 point risk, you don't kind of, mind having a go at those. Look at the potential. You're risking 2.25 point for a lot more than your money, even if you follow it up. There. So you could follow it up every single bar. That one there, you'd still be in it. There, you'd still be in that trade. There, to that one, you'd be taken out there at 13.25 points on that bar there. So in these strong trending days, if you can get into a trade, they're definitely worth holding and just following it up with each wick. That failure, yeah. The bit that concerned me is I had my channel different. It was a second entry, but that little bit of a wick just makes you a bit nervous, doesn't it? But the trouble is, as we change and adjust our charts, sometimes they can come into contact then, and you think, right. But at the time, charts were a little bit different. This was further down, but it's just one of those things, isn't it, really? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. What point do you say, okay, this is an overshoot? Well, it might be an overshoot, but it's keeping on going. What I will say is definitely a channel. No argument there, and it's a very strong channel. Remember, I've mentioned a few times when you get these double width channels, whenever you get a bearish bar, if you buy, that pushes up. Bearish buy there, buy there, buy there. All those would have made 2 points each. That one, that one, that one, and that one. Whenever you get these sort of what I call double width channels, sort of twice as wide as more of a single, and you get an opposite bar, that bar, a bearish bar. I probably wouldn't take that one. That one I might, or that one I certainly would have done. You buy it as soon as it closes, 2 point risk, 2 point profit. So if you actually bought it as soon as it closed, it went down 2 ticks and then turned up, you'd have got 2 points there. You'd have got 2 points before that bar had even closed. And same with that one as well, 2 points. We've not got a lot of these lately, but whenever you get these kind of sort of double width channels, they can be quite profitable. And the good thing is, if you trade it 1-to-1, 2 points and 2 points, it's, you need to get it right sort of just over 50% of the time to be in profit. But they do seem to be really accurate. Was there any yesterday? Same again there. Little bullish bar there. Not the best example, in all fairness. There's a double wide channel. This type of channel. So whenever we get a bull bar in this, so this was coming down like this, this type of width channel. So got a bull bar there. So if you'd have just sold that, came down, you'd have got 2 points down here. Another bull bar, pushed up a little bit, came down, you'd have got 2 points. That one I wouldn't have taken because of the break. But yeah, whenever you get this kind of width channel, they really work. This thing's still going. Nothing you can do up here. We're that far from the EMA. We've had a little break there, so we've got to get down here at least. It's hard to It's hard to get this to work. Okay, we got a break and a push up to a new high. See what we get here. This thing is very strong. We are coming up to yesterday's open, so that could play a part. Yeah, so maybe a little bounce there. In fact, we got 3 little touches there, so I'd rather come down here a little bit. Nothing you can do there, really. Even though we are bouncing on there, might go up, might not, could just rocket up. But it's a bit congested there. Uh, so we're bouncing off yesterday's open. It's weird, isn't it? We opened, we had that big spike up, big drop, open this morning, spike down, push up, and we're already at yesterday's open. Are we going to get to the top? I don't know. That was just the news which recovered. So we're kind of where we were really yesterday. May even be a channel there. Either way, I think we've had a break. Actually, let's leave it there. Not sure about that. So we could have had a break and a new high. There is a lower high there, but you don't want to really be going short there in this big strong uptrend. Be nice to get a drop down somewhere. Nothing you could say there. I mean, technically that's a second entry, but the bar's naff above the EMA. Just can't do nothing really. We need a decent pullback, really. Come on, come down. it's so easy to just keep drawing these damn things, isn't it? And which one do you believe? You know what I mean? It's just so hard, isn't it? I think all you have to do is kind of just appreciate the fact that it's a strong uptrend and wait for 2 legs back, and hopefully it's in the right place. Doesn't necessarily matter that it's here. The trouble is when you put this wider channel in, you automatically kind of look for the area when it gets down here to take a trade. And we've got a little thing there with a break and a matching low, higher low. Just can't take it. Might just rock it up, but it's just one of those things. That's why sometimes these days when they're really strong, they're kind of almost impossible to get in. I mean, if you had your channel like that, then you may have jumped in there. I might have done, but at the time it was slightly different. It was coming from here, and the bottom line was out here. And the fact that it was under the EMA, that's just one of those things. Look, if you'd have jumped in there, look, it's just continuing on up. Unbelievable. It's as big as bloody yesterday, or it's going to be. If you count that, it can be even larger. What can you do? See, if you look on this other chart, there's it is kind of a second entry, and it's back at the key entry point in the midline, but ordinarily something like that would be too risky. But look at the thing, it's just pushed up another 5 points. just no stopping it. I mean, you know, like Max says, sometimes when you just get back to the key entry point, but where's the key entry point? Is that it? Or is that it? You know, where do you draw the line? And my experience is whenever you've had enough and you don't want to miss any more and you take a riskier trade, my experience is you get stung. So I've just given up. I couldn't resist a trade like that or a trade like that. But the trouble is, sometimes they'll just sting you. And that used to be one of my triggers to go on tilt when I took a risky trade I knew I shouldn't have done. So the only way I kind of keep myself in balance just someone just mentioned a comment to Taylor and said, "Is that your third chart?" I think Taylor's got 3 charts on the go by the sounds of things, and he's just picking the best of the bunch. There's not a huge amount of difference between these. In fact, I might reload my top one and see if that changes anything. That's the one frustrating thing I hate about reloading your data. It often shifts your chart. Right. Let's see if this is... Does this look any different? Actually, that looks better. Look at that. That looks a really nice second entry. Do you know what? If I'd have seen that, I'd have taken that. Oh, dearie, dearie me. Sorry about that. Oh, come on. What the hell is going on here? Sorry about that. So that chart, look how better that looked. That was quite a nice second entry long. Look how nice that looked. 2 clear legs back. I'd have gone for that one for sure. So if I'd have gone one tick above there, I'd have been out for 2 points by the time that third candle finished. Look how far it went up to 5 points. You put it there and take 3, it may go higher. So that is much better. So I think that's the key. Pull back. Oh. So let's have a look at this. Just check this chart here, this bigger chart. So we've got a touch here, touch here. This looks quite good, I think. But we have come from the top. We've struggled to get up there. Are we going to get a bigger correction here? There'll be liquidity there, so it may come down. Let me just see that there's no support. We're bouncing off here. We've pushed above the day, the yesterday's open. That's it there. So we're if we can get a correction here, we may get an opportunity yet. See if it looks any different from here. So channel break, 2 pushes up to a new high. So that's played out technically, that little channel there. I think it kind of looked like a spike in a channel, in all honesty. Yeah, so from Monday, what I'm going to do is shut for an hour, or have a break for an hour at around about 5:30, somewhere around about there, UK time, 5:15 to 5:30. I'll leave the stream going, and then I'm going to come back for about an hour and a half later. I am noticing people like Taylor, Marco, and Thomas Wade and all that. When I have a look at the Discord later, they're trading for another 2 or 3 hours. Longer than me, and Thomas does usually take a break himself, so I'm going to start doing that. There's not a lot of setups, so I've noticed in a couple of evenings there has been some nice setups that I would have taken. So I think there was one day before yesterday that I would have taken, so that's a potential $2,000 there just for an extra hour and a half of a night time. So I'm going to do that as from Monday. So I'll extend the stream. I'll keep it going because and you guys can chat amongst yourself if you need to, or, you know. Okay, so channel, little channel and a break. See what happens here. Let me just see if there's 2 legs. I think we're past that, aren't we? No, we're way past that. Even if we shorten it to here. Maybe. Do I ignore that or what? See, Thomas Wade's got his chart like that. Which I don't think looks terrible, does it? Okay, so little second entry long there. There's probably going to be some shorts there. But it's a little bit congested. It's a little bit sideways, so it's too dangerous to take a trade because we could have a leg and a leg Could have a leg and a leg, which give us a break. Thomas Wade trading CL2. Not that I noticed, mate. I only ever see him post. There's his chart there. I only ever see him, but he does post them regularly. There's another one of his. Taylor. So he posts them regularly. Another one, like every five or 6 minutes, something like that. So you guys can look at my chart and you've got something to compare yours to. I kind of haven't, so that's why I like having seen what he's up to and what he's doing. So that little second entry long has worked for a couple of points. The trouble is, it's this I don't like. This is risky. This could come down and take you out. So you could have a leg and a leg. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that did that. We're going to have some sort of a correction. Trouble is, this market's quite strong. It just may keep going. Trouble is, I'll tell you something now. I can't count how many times I've thought that and jumped in and all of a sudden it's gone down and took me out. It just tends to know. So the simple answer is just to stay away from it. If you're not sure, stay away. High and low would probably be the better answer, but we could have a leg and a leg. It's always possible. If we can get something that looks like a good higher low, trap in some shorts, I may consider it. Shame about that. I just updated my chart and look at that. That was a really nice looking setup, actually. I usually like it to break below there, but it was that nice of a two legs. Mind you, having said that, if you watch Thomas Wade's videos, he doesn't often go a day without a trade. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say he probably takes the best part of half a dozen trades a week. So yeah, so I don't think he needs to really. There is a shortage, but I think he's been trading 10 years plus, so he's probably had a lot more experience of this as more of us. I am finding that, the more experience you get, you do notice things that maybe inexperienced traders don't. Sometimes you stay out of a trade if you're not too sure, but then as you get more experience, you think, it is frustrating when you get that and you think you wait for a higher low and you just don't get one. It just keeps going. It's such a strong market. The trouble is, I guarantee you, as soon as you jump into somewhere like that, it triggers you, stops you out. I don't know how the market does it, but it's incredibly efficient at taking out weak traders. And I don't know, perhaps we're all paranoid, thinking that's a little bit too good to be true, and everyone else is just buying. Every time it comes back to the entry point, they're buying. So we go for high probability trades. A lot of traders who may just take that, may get it right 60, 70% of the time, but go for a bigger move. But that's the thing about trading. It is about being patient. And if you're patient and you sit there nicely and do all the right things, you should get your reward. It may take a while, but. It's too far for a high-low. $13 and he started with his own capital. Yeah, see, it's a lot of experience that, I've been trading a little over 3.5 years and I'm a world away from where I was 18 months ago. So he probably doesn't need to. I mean, I get some traders who are trading the CL because they can't find a lot of setups. I'm struggling to find one. I'm probably averaging 2 to 3 a week at the moment. But hopefully now I've got this second chart. That may add another couple, but which is why I am going to do an extra hour and a half in the evening. But I notice people like Thomas Wade does tend to trade most of the day. So if all of a sudden I'm adding on an extra hour and 30 minutes a day, it's an extra 7.5 hours a week, hopefully. That maybe produce a couple of more trades. If I was doing one a day, then, that'd be okay, But if there is, see, there may be 2 legs down here, leg down, and then we go again. Yeah. I mean, if we get, if I get some options with trading an extra hour and a half, then, it may be worth a go. Yeah, we are. I was interested. I was listening to Mac, didn't he? It makes me laugh. It does. He spent 40 minutes on that video and realised there was no sound. Bless him. He's committed, isn't he? I think if that had happened, I think the window would have gone out the window, or the screen would have gone out the window, I think. But he's patient enough. But yeah, he was talking about failures, wasn't he? And they come sort of organically. I think he teaches us probably about 5% of what he actually knows, because when you teach people, if you go too much into detail, you'll just completely baffle and overwhelm them. So you need to teach them the basics, really, and the rest. The best way for it to come is just naturally, as you learn with experience. But when you make these mistakes, they used to frustrate me making mistakes, but they don't anymore, because I realise the value behind them. If you're getting trapped, the best way to learn not to get trapped is to get trapped. You get way more value from your losses than you do, your wins. You take the money, you move on, don't you? But the losses tend to linger around for a while in your mind, and you try and figure out, what went wrong. So you do get a lot, you do learn a lot from your losses, for sure. Let me have a look at that. Leg and a leg. Yeah, see that? That sort of kind of fits from there. Touch. Tough on that. it kind of fits. So it's kind of a leg and a leg, but I don't know. I know it's weird, but when you get a big bullish bar right on a trend line, that's where you should jump in and make your money. But that's when I feel most suspicious for some reason. So I start panicking, going, no, it can't be that easy. I've got a little double bottom there, but trust me, my experience is you jump in sometimes here without, a proper setup, and it stings you. But this, I'd like this to come down, but it is push up. We have a break. We have 2 push up to new high, 2 attempts to go lower. Naturally, you would think then some more up stuff. See what happens. So we have 2 pullbacks and a bullish bar. Unfortunately, I can't take that. Having said that, I think we've probably had a measured move. It's just too risky. It just doesn't jump all over me, that one. I'd say, yeah, we've more or less had a measured leg there. Touch, 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 touch. Where's that touch here? We'll tick off it, but it's a channel with a break, so I'd rather it come back here and bounce here. That will be a second entry long then, so it's just too risky to take that. It may work, but it's kind of irrelevant, really. That one kind of looks better on that chart, but the fact that it's triggered there and working its way down will put the fear of God up to me. And not only that, we've come from the tops and we've had a push up and we've struggled to get up there, so this may be where we get a decent sized correction and finally get out this thing. It's hard to say. But that is not a place that I would relish going along. Although it is 2 legs down, it's off that key entry point. It's something I don't like about this. This bit I don't like. We come from the bottoms and we work our way to the top. We come from the bottom and we work our way up to the top. We've pushed up, we've struggled up here, so that tells me maybe a correction. So that to me would be extra risky. And when it ticks you like that and starts to work its way back, you get that sinking feeling, don't you? And not only that, it is a channel with a break, so it may work up. It is such a strong market. Sometimes things just keep going, but I'm tired of this chart of it. I mean, it is off the key entry point. It is kind of 2 legs back, isn't it? I'd rather wait for a higher low because I don't know. Sometimes these markets can just be too strong, can't they? And we wait for a little bit of confirmation, and half the time it doesn't need it. It just off it goes. So what I'll say, if I'm looking at this main chart, we pushed up, we got 1 attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower. We've got a channel with a break. If we can push down and bounce here, that to me would be a triple test, but it's such a strong market, it may just keep going up. And unfortunately, half the time it doesn't give us a setup. But nothing you can do. Don't bother me in the slightest, not in the slightest. It used to frustrate me, not in the slightest now. You can't, this is the market. You've got no control over where it goes. All you can try and do is figure out where it's going and try and go with it. But if there's no setup, there's nothing you can do. It's when you start taking setups out of lack of impatience where things start to go wrong. So I'm way past that level now. I don't even bother thinking about it now. I just leave it, let it go. There's so many times that I just jumped in. But market just seems to be programmed, or how they do it, I don't know. But it seems to just know exactly when weak traders are going to jump in. And then it stings you. And I've had so much of that. I'm just fed up with it. So I just kind of just go with it now. Doesn't give me a setup, I'll move on. I never thought I'd be saying this, to be honest with you. I thought this market was going to control me emotionally, but finally now I feel like I'm in control. And I make the decisions when I get in. So many times in the past I just get sucked in emotionally, but it does go with time. And it's a nice feeling when it goes, because you feel like actually now you've got half a chance. So straight back to the EMA and straight up. Ah, that's interesting. Wow, look at that. Finally, we're getting something. That's what we want. Some sort of a correction or something, you know, something to tip the balance. So is that a breakout pullback or what? I'd like to see that bearish bar trigger. Trouble is, it's sideways with a failed breakout by the looks of things, so it may continue sideways until it picks up this side or whatever. However you got your channel, but on my channel, perhaps we may get I don't know, who knows. Okay, second chart, 2 legs back, higher low. It's just too far for that EMA. That bit's confused me as well. Leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. This could come down some more. See, it depends how you look at this market, doesn't it, really? We got this tight channel here with a break, 2 pushes up to make a new high. We've made 2 more attempts to push higher. So we could get a bigger correction. It's so hard. There's so many sort of different channels going on in this bigger channel. Trouble is, it could start ranging, which means this could come back. It's holding above that EMA, which means it could go up. There's a couple of possible traps here. There's a bearish bar there. It could say 1, 2, 3. There's a triple test there, which is triggered and snapped back quickly. And then there's a lower high, but that lower high hasn't triggered. So there's a long in here and quite likely a short. So this could come down, take out this long. We could have a bigger correction, or it could continue up. I got no idea. I know the market's strong today, but at some point it could snap back and shock you. Okay, so let's see if this long gets stopped out. It's looking like it. Or might it break below there and then push up some more? Who knows? Wow, big strong bullish bar off there. Massive bullish bar off there. How big is it? 10 ticks. Good grief. It's actually a nice bar, that is. Trouble is, no room to the eyes, so you'd have to be suicidal to take that one. Strange enough, it probably worked. Two legs back. It's actually a failure, but it isn't really trapping anything, is it, as such, or is it? What to do? That's all I could do, unfortunately. It's going to be a high or low here. Nothing you could do here, really. It's just going sideways now. It's just being annoying now. So, that one didn't trigger. I wouldn't have taken it anyway. Not there, really. It's just too dangerous, that is. Okay, 1, 2, 3. This could be a triple test here, so let's see how this works. We could get a correction. Oh, that's dropping out, that is. It's clearly struggling to get up, that's for certain. That's interesting. Oh, what's going on here? Is this thing going to go? Wow. Well, channel break, new low. 13 ticks, that is. It's just too risky there, isn't it? Fail breakout. It's gone down a bit too far for me. If I took that, I'd be taking a risk. So, channel break, new low. I'll break out of this, I don't know. I couldn't take that one in all fairness. May work, but this has come down quite a lot, and it's also broken this channel, so it could go down, pull up a little bit, go down again, go sideways, and eventually work up if it does. Don't even know whether this channel is really valid. It's probably not too bad. Just don't know whether it may be something like this, and then something like that. That actually doesn't look that bad, does it? Touch, touch, touch. Actually, that's probably not bad at all, actually. Fact. touch, touch, touch. It's nice. Top. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad actually. Trouble is, if this is different and we've had a break, we may end up doing something like this. You just don't know. So to try and get a new high from that, depending on how really it's got to push above that EMA and give us something else. Trouble is, we could do something like this. I mean, that's quite a big push, isn't it? You'd expect a decent size correction, wouldn't you, really? We got a small one there, but not enough for one, I don't think, but it did go up a bit higher, but I like that one. We've got a touch, a couple of touch, a bit bigger. Got a touch here, a couple of touches there and there. And also it's fitting nice up the backside as well. Touch there, so I kind of like that. It's the most comfortable one I've felt, I think. But I have got something wider on my second chart up here, so I kind of got the best of both worlds. In fact, is that one the same as this? I think it is, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is. How ironic's that? I kind of did it by accident. So we've got a channel down. Let's have a look here. There could be some traps here. We've got a channel down with a break and a no. Push up. There's a lower high there which has been triggered. So that is a failure. My only issue is she's too far below that AMA. We could get a bigger correction here. Or if this channel has broken at some point and we've had 3 bounces off the top, we could get a bloody reversal, really, couldn't we? You just don't know. We went once, twice, 3 times. We've struggled to get up a few times, so it makes sense you'd have at least a break. Excuse me. Second entry short, that one there. Yeah, trouble is, after we've had such a bullish day, I find it very hard to go short, especially after we've had a channel, a break and a new low, so you don't know whether we're going to, you know what I mean? But having said that, you took it, yeah. Having said that, Is it a bad one? It's not a bad... Okay, so Marco took it, so there you go. Marco took it. So perhaps it's not a bad trade. Let's have a look. So you're not the only one. There you are, Marco took it. So I think the more people that take it, maybe it is. I think for me, after we've had such a bullish day, I don't trust shorts just at the moment. So hard to say. See, also for me, I don't often take trades that far from the EMA. I mean, it's quite a chunk. I mean, it's 3 points from the EMA, so I attempted to take it on a sim, but it didn't get filled. Yeah, see, I mean, from the EMA there, it's like 3 points. I'd normally want that up there, even to consider it. I mean, it hasn't even touched that EMA, and it's such a bullish market that makes me suspicious. But I just have this. I keep hearing Mac in my head. Don't fight the market. Don't fight. Don't catch and trade it. And at the moment, we've had. I mean, literally all day. It's been moving up, with the exception of that quick spikes news, but we've gone sideways and then up, and it's just been bullish all day. And I'm kind of expecting a correction, but you just don't know how. Are we going to push down, break a new low, have a push up, trap some shorts, push up again, and then work up like that? You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. Everyone's slightly different. See, I consider Marco a solid trader. I've known him for a few years. He took it. I didn't think he would. So it's, that's what I say sometimes. We're all slightly different. We've all got, perhaps that trade might work 70% of the time. But if you're going for 1-to-1, it makes sense to take it. So, you know what I mean? It's it's one of those things. See, Taylor has marked that as a downtrend. I wouldn't at the moment. See, I'd be looking for a correction followed by a move to the upside. So I'll look at this, bring this in quickly. So Taylor has marked that as a channel. Thomas hasn't. So I would be on Thomas's thought wave at the moment, because I'd like to see a correction. Often we get two legs before we continue on up. And the trouble is, if you kind of put it as a channel and a downtrend, what you'd be looking to do, take shorts. Well, after two legs down, I'll be looking for shorts to get trapped as it pushes to the upside. So I wouldn't consider it as a channel until after two breaks, and then I like to give it time to push up. But having said that, if you've got this channel slightly different, if you've got this kind of channel going from maybe, let's say, the spike, well, in all fairness, it still fits, doesn't it? In fact, it actually fits pretty well. So I just can't see where we've had a break yet. And in such a strong uptrend, after a break, I'd be expecting a new high. So I'd be expecting a reasonable size sort of correction. So I don't know, it just feels so alien to me to go, to shorten and with such a strong uptrend. Did Marco and Taylor larger trend channel? Marco has got the larger one. See, Taylor has got the smaller one. Very similar to me, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, his is the same as me, and he's got that as a channel. Whereas Marco, he's got a slightly wider one. But either way, it's the first kind of break. He's not got a break out of that, and I haven't got the break out of it. But I love the fact that I can see, different opinions, because the trouble is, you guys have got your charts and you've got mine, so you've kind of got a different perspective, because sometimes you miss things. So I like the fact that I can have a quick glance to my left and I can see what a couple of other traders have got, and I can just check if there's something better than mine, or it does help. It helps me learn and improve. So for me, really, I will be looking for a correction, and I will be looking for quite a decent correction, not something small. And then, I don't know, maybe there's even something larger on there. You never know, do you? I mean, look at that. We touch here, now we're touching here. Let's see if we had a leg up there, from there to there, and another leg, where would we end up? Miles up here. So that's probably a little bit too overzealous at the moment. But it's correction, bounce. You just don't know. You never know. If we come back and we're up here later, then you'd be thinking, well, okay, maybe it is. So, but yeah, I mean, if you go from there to there, does this take us anywhere or not? Not really, does it? So, but I wouldn't automatically think that, because I'll be looking to take a long off here. You know, don't get me wrong, I am still thinking we're likely to make a new high. After this big push up as well, I'd expect a break and then at least a test of these highs. So nothing more than a correction. It doesn't even look like this second leg's gonna make it, but get a little bit of a bottoming pattern here. Just going to take a quick minute bathroom break. I'll be a second. Okay. See, if we come back to here and then continue down, that's when I may consider a channel. But really, a channel wants to hit 3 times, really, doesn't it? So at the moment, it's just 2 legs, really. We could start to work up here. So it's too early for me to go short, and also long until we get above here, really. But I like to give it a chance to get to the EMA, trap some shorts before I even consider going long. There is so many different ways and channels. Yeah, sometimes it's a minefield. You just have to get what you think's best. See, we got 1, 2, 3. There's a few bars touching there, and the back end. So if I find sometimes if you squeeze these together like that, obviously forgetting these, it kind of works. But it is a tough one, isn't it? So Taylor's got the same as me, and Marco's got a slightly wider one. Either way, Marco's, we've got a break here, and Taylor's same as me. So either way, we've got a break anyway. So we just need to now sit and wait and see if it pushes up. So I'd like to see a second entry short here to trap some traders, and then hopefully a push up. If it traps that and pushes up, I think there's a good chance then we may see a slow move up. I think sometimes the best place to get in are these early ones, but then you are taking a risk, because sometimes if it goes up and you get in here, it may stop you out before it goes higher. But it's obviously a risk, isn't it, getting in so early? But I just won't be looking for shorts yet. In fact, there is a second entry short form there on that the other chart, my other chart. It's not closed yet. Yeah, it is slightly bearish, but it's more neutral. Oh, what's that? What just opened? Oh, I don't think. No. So this to me looks like it's trying now to push up. Got to get above here though. I'd like to have seen that pair bar trigger, but it never did. Sorry, yeah, sorry, Thomas Wade, not Mark. Yeah, sorry, Thomas's and Taylor's that I was looking at. Yeah, sorry. Let's have a look. Yeah, Thomas Wade has done the same thing. He's put that chat. Yeah, he does. We think similar actually, which is good for me. We tend to do quite a bit together, with exception of that bigger channel. I tend to prefer mine really, but it's irrelevant really. We still got 2 breaks, and it's starting to push up. So I was kind of hoping we may trap some shorts here, come back and take them out, and then maybe give us a failure. But this thing seems so strong. So I'd be looking for a break here. Pull back really before it gets too much higher, because it could just I would expect it to hit these highs after that. That looks like a nice correction to me. I like the fact that it hasn't got down as low, which tells me I think buyers are eager to continue on up. Let me just check. There's no range. I don't think so. There is always the possibility we start to go sideways. No, that's it. Okay. Second entry short on this chart. It's not the best looking barn. It's a bit further up, but it'd be nice to try and trap some shorts, because if we can trap some shorts, see, Taylor's saying fail second entry short. I think still worth it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Phil said, I'm thinking, is he on about going short? Sorry, yeah. Need to come down and trap something, don't we? There is a failure on this bar here. Trouble is, that for me is a bit risky. Yeah. I had a feeling that wasn't going to look that good. It's risky taking that. We did a little bit of sideways here. Risky, that is. It needs to come right back, really, for me to take that long. That needs to be sat on top of that EMA, really. And ideally, trap a short. That wasn't the best short. The best short really would have been if that short would have finished sat on there, and it would have triggered. Just too risky. This, it may work, but I think that's not the strongest position to take there. So, but it is a very strong market. It doesn't matter. The fact that it's a stronger market is not going to get me into a trade that's out of my, you know, still got to follow the rules 100%, regardless of whether the market's trending or not, how strong it is. But that, to me, isn't the strongest looking bar, and we could get a bit of a break here, and that may get taken out. I don't know, it's just not filling me full of confidence, this. And that's just out of experience. If I took that, I'd be shitting it now because I'd realise I've made a mistake, although it may work. There's no way I can take that, not a chance. That's a weak position to me, and I find weak positions just get eaten up by this market. It may eventually hold, but it's not looking good, I don't think. It's trying to come down, but it's such a strong market that it just seems to be surviving. Nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I'd like it to come down and clear that stop. And if it does that, we may get a chance, but it's so strong that it may not. There's some weak liquidity there, but it might hold. But I just have a feeling this is going to push quickly. These have got to be taken out. This is weak, I think, at the moment. They're too far from the EMA, but it is such a strong market. But I think this has got to have a break and take out all these three. I'll be looking for it to break below there. I keep saying it might not do, but I have a feeling it will. You know, traders are seeing this correction, whether they're inexperienced or experienced, I don't know. They're seeing this correction and thinking this is pushing up. And we get these three little bars here. Only the two's triggered, that hasn't. And this just seems like easy picking for liquidity for me. But if it's still very strong, it just may hold on, you know. We've all the term, the trend's your friend, and sometimes it helps you out of the shit. It helps you out of you know, weak positions. But I just have a feeling this is going to take this, and then I expect it to turn. I may just hang on. I think this is going to whip down quickly. I think it has to before it can go. Yeah, I had a feeling. You do get used to seeing things, don't you? You do get used to just knowing when something's going to happen. Now let's see if it pushes up, or indeed it may do something different. Just thinking, you know, the more I did start watching that the ICT, is it ITC guy? A lot of people say he's fake. I don't know whether it is or not. But when he talks about liquidity, Mark's market search for easy liquidity, it does make perfect sense, because so many times if you take a poor trade a poor setup, market snaps you up, so it kind of knows where they are. So if you can identify where these weaker areas are, like that one to me, it helps you stay out of them. But if you'd have taken that one, if you didn't take that one, you think, oh, look at that one, there's another one, I'm going to miss this big move up to the tops now. You jump in, so it triggers you again, turns over, comes straight back down. I see it so many times, and I used to get trapped in it, so it does make you feel good when you start to understand what's going on, and you understand these areas that are likely to get, likely to get taken out, and it does help you then stay out of them. So I'm hoping for a second entry long, or maybe a higher low to have another leg, or at least to try and get a bit higher. I think that's come up too far to be any type of a channel. So, depending on, I'd like another level, 2 legs, and then maybe a higher low. I like the fact that it's above here, it's pushed below and turned. So maybe there will be another, but I want something a little better. Second entry long, really. Let's just see, that's a correction. There is a possibility we could have another leg up. There really is. Wow, look how nice that fits in that. Wow, I mean, how accurate is that? So I'm just going to kill the colour on this and say it's an area of interest. So 2 legs down, push up, looking for a second entry long. If we can trap some shorts here, we may get a trade here. So first attempt higher, trap the bull bar. That to me is a no-no. It's doing nothing at the moment, and there is some highs here. Sorry, there is a little bit of support there, so going along there for me is risky. But if we can get a first entry and drop down here, touch this bigger channel, trap some shorts, take out that little bit of liquidity from the bull bar, we may get a long. Also setting up for it, is it really? That's always nice to know, is it? And not only that, you could even say if it breaks down a little bit more, it's a breakout of the range of the channel as well. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I suppose the more these scenarios you see, more chance you've kind of got. For me, see on this smaller chart, that's better. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Order submitted.
Which charts are going to look better on? That's if it works. May not. I like the fact that it's come down here to this possible bigger line, but it needs to start moving up rapidly. Doesn't want to be going much lower. That's enough. That's better on this. Oh, look at that. It's just not quite good enough, unfortunately. It is 2 legs down. It's below the EMA, unfortunately. As tempting as it is, there's nothing we can do here. We'll have to wait for a higher low, if anything. As long as that doesn't close any lower, that's...
Order cancelled.
So look at this. If I can adjust this a fraction, we can keep it in, hopefully. It'll work. Okay, big leg up. Nice correction. Push up above the EMA. 2 legs back. I think it'll probably work. Very tempting, that is, but I just can't do it in all fairness. 10 ticks, so that would take you about to 8 ticks. It's very tempting. I think it'd probably work. But unfortunately, I'm just sitting tight, I think. As tempting as it is. See if we get a higher low or something. I was very tempted to get into it there. Very. There's 2 points, isn't it? Yeah, some people have taken it. Thomas hasn't. Taylor hasn't either. Trouble is, what's it going to do? I like to think it's going to push up. So we're above that now. Yeah, okay. Bar just was a little bit on the not brilliant side. Yeah, Thomas didn't take it. Taylor didn't either. Oh well, can you do? It is a leg, 2 legs back. It's just the bar on here was naff. The bar, I don't know, it's just, it could have tricked you there. I know if you look at the bigger picture, we got 2 legs down, a correction, a push up, but it's just looking a bit congested here. It's just a bit too risky. Yeah, some people have taken it. It's just too risky for me. Which is a shame. You just have to, I mean, you've just got to deal the hands you've dealt with, haven't you, really? Play the hands you've dealt with. Which chart do you have on the bottom left of the screen? Bottom left is the second chart that's got, I'll show you, that's got the break at end of day deselected. And the large chart that you see there is just my normal chart. So the one above it was a better setup. I think it was likely going to work, but I got to ask myself, if that failed, why would it fail? Because the EMA is a bit flat. It's a little bit congested. You know, Mac told me once, look for a reason to not take a trade. And why was there a reason to not take that? It's congested. So we got a little leg down there, a little bit sideways. We could have had another leg. So it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes you're just best off staying out of it. You're welcome, mate. And if that had been a little bit better, I may have had a go at it. But I have to say that is a bit congested. Now, it's probably going to work. Mac will say that. It'll probably work. But unfortunately, it's just not quite good enough. EMA's flat as pancake. Now, the one thing going for it is we have had a correction and it is pushed up above the EMA and just sort of, you know, taking its time here. But if I took that one, I'd have to say to myself, you knew it was slightly risky. Why did you take it? And not only that, that roomy weekend. Breakout pullback. There's a little bearish bar there. Trouble is, little risky there, I think. Tempting. I think it's certainly like yeah, we're stacking up a little here. I'd like to come back to this line really and confirm it for me. I would still like to see a new high of that there, and there's quite a bit of distance, so we've still got some time. There's best part of 10 points to get up there. So if we can get a leg up, 2 legs back. And his problem is going along there. There's always a possibility. Now we've had a break of this channel that we go sideways for a bit before we push up. I might do an extra 20 minutes today, I think. My wife and daughter are out, so I'll do a little bit longer. Someone on Thomas Ways just said he's just run his barcode scanner over that, and it says chicken is £4.99 a pound. So on this chart, the smaller one, I'd like to see a little second entry long break above this, come down and give us something down here. Okay, now come down. Come on. I would say what I'm seeing now, I'd expect a little pull down to take that out. I'd say that bar is pretty safe. It's about as low as you can go after this. But I'd like to see this little bullish bar here stopped out, because I think that's a weak position. Same as that one, I'd like to see that flushed out. And if we do that, we may get a second entry long, because I still think we're going to get... the only slight concern is there a little bit of congestion? Is there a little bit of sideways there? So... it's just struggling to go up a bit now. Sometimes it needs to come back, clear out some things. Possible second entry long. Trouble is, it is stacked, and this could come down. There'll be liquidity under there, definitely some there. It could come down to the bottoms here. See what happens if we get below there. If you start to push, then it's game over. I think we're going to come down below there towards this bottom. Hopefully it'll hold. You've got to be so careful taking them. It may trigger you and then create a failed second entry long and then come down to the bottom. There's going to be liquidity up here. It's really struggling to go up. Okay, second entry long. Now, I think this personally is risky. We're struggling to get up now, and I find when you get that, sometimes this thing can come flushing down. May work, but I ain't taking it. It's a bit sideways. It looks like it's going to work. It's a bit sideways for me. I've taken trades like that before, and they've stung me. But it does look like it's going up. It is a second entry long, but look at this. It's just stacked sideways. It's just so risky. It's even worse on this chart. Still a second entry long on here, but either way you look at it, it's just sideways, isn't it? How far has it gone? It didn't seem to hesitate, to be honest with you. It just seemed to push up. So let's get this a tick above, which is about there. So you'd have got a point because it'd have had to push through. It's probably going to go higher. Looks like it. Yeah, no one's taking it. It's hard to trust that. It's even worse there. It looks bad enough there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 bars stacked up. It's just too risky. Okay, let's bend that now. Oof, now the thing's rocking, look. So it does look like we are targeting these highs, and whether it'll get there, that's a different matter. It is frustrating, really. It just gives us a load of sideways stuff. I mean, there is a second entry there by the count, but if that failed, the answer would be that it's stacked, because we've got a little leg down here. It could potentially break below there. I don't think it will, but not thinking and using me brain, you know, obviously I want to take a trade, but my brain's telling me that I have to be aware that it's stacked. Yeah, odds are in my favour, but I just don't want odds in my favour and a feeling. I want a clear setup that's clear. That was a better one. It is a bit sideways, but it's more broken up. But unfortunately, the bar wasn't as good. Even if the bar had been solid there, even though it's a bit sideways, it's a lot clearer that. There's clear two legs there. It's not as clear there. And sometimes when it goes slow to grind up, that's when it can be at its most dangerous. And it can come, make a quick downshift, change gears and take you out. Now, it is a strong market today, but all of a sudden we just get that. Two big drops down. I mean, very quickly, it came down 12 points and then about another 4. So it can shift gears pretty quickly. And unfortunately, once we get so far up, it's clear where we're going. So every man and his dog's jumping in, maybe with their stops here. But it's kind of too late for us, really. You can take a risk there, but I'd class that as a more of an aggressive trade because it's so and I just don't do aggressive trades. For me, it's either all or nothing, really. I'll either got to get a good trade. Some people trade aggressive. You know, maybe later on down the line I will. But I'd rather stick to what I'm comfortable with. And then, you know, once it would have taken that, people like Bart, because he can play the numbers. He's got the mental control to play the numbers. I don't want to knowingly take what I consider a more aggressive trade because I'm not at that level of comfort yet. Maybe in time I will. Damn shame, like, because there was a nice move there. You know, a nice trade in an uptrend. I've been inclined to hold on to it. Keep it there. When that moves up, put it there, put it there, and put it there, and put it there. There's a potential. Well, I'd be holding a 6-point trade there. Well, yeah, 6.25 points. And I'd probably have my stop at 8 points, profit at 8 points. And the way that's pushing it, I wouldn't be shocked if it gets it. That would be nice, $800 times 10. Go on, it might profit. Definitely be some liquidity over there. Absolutely no argument. So it'd be interesting. How far have we actually moved up? So we've actually come up 66 points. It'd be nice to see what happens at the end of the day, because that's such a nice correction. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up here somewhere. Okay, excuse me. Oh, it's okay. Sorry. Took that brake out of small congestion. Yeah, so many places you could jump in here if you just know, but yeah, the trouble is, my experience is when I just decide to jump in because I think something's going to happen, tend to get stung. So I've just given up doing that. I've got to say though, on that smaller chart, that looked nice. That may have been worth a go there. I just don't like that bit of stem, but it is clearly 2 legs back. We've clearly pushed above that EMA and had 2 legs back, and we've had a correction, so it's very likely we're going to hit these highs. But I just and ahed about my larger channel that much. There'd have been a possibility that, you know, we could have had a break already, but when we had that correction, clearly a bottoming pattern, and then push up, you'd naturally think we were at least going to have another leg, even if we couldn't reach these tops. So perhaps that was worth having a go. If the bar had been better, I'd have probably had a go at that. That one, just 2 sideways, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to go up, but it's just 2 sideways. Well, that one here is a bit clearer first entry. So it breaks above there, you know. Even if you'd have put your order above there, once it closed clearly above here, and once you get above there, you're probably likely are going to have a push anyway. Because of price action, personality might cause it. See, you got your kind of your own style of doing things, which works well for you, doesn't it? You tend to go for bigger moves. I'll be surprised if you're not still in there, aren't you? So. Oh, you're in a bit later than I thought, but you're still up nice though. I think it's safe to say we're going to get to the top for sure. In fact, you are out now, aren't you? Yeah, you'll be out now. Unless you've moved it up a bit. Yeah, I think it's fair to say I'll be surprised if it comes down below that area where you're in before it hits the top. In fact, we're very close now. We're going a bit sideways sometimes. You don't want the pullback though, do you? You want to just get out for the sake of a couple of ticks. What are we pointing a bit from the top? Yeah, so sometimes it's good just to get out here rather than wait for that last bit. Mind you, if you look at Bart won't hang around. He'll want his full profit, even if it does come back a bit. And you're out, yeah. We'd had a few bars, and you were out here somewhere, weren't you? I think. So, but it's such a strong market, really. You think after that push, this would be the last place to go long. So close, but after such a move away from that EMA, it may pull back, but sometimes this thing just does not want to stop. We don't often get strong trending days. If we did, we'd probably get used to trading, because I know, you know, when it's down to trading, we obviously have range rules and then sort of trend rules. But because we spend most of our time in ranges, we tend to be a little bit better at trading them. But then when we get these strong markets, with not a lot of setups, we kind of don't adapt enough to say, okay, we can probably take something slightly more risky because it's usually going to work. I mean, if you'd have taken that bullish bar there, it would have worked. That bullish bar there, that bullish bar there. There's probably not a lot that wouldn't have worked, really. That one there, off the bottom, that one there, there. Yeah. I mean, it's easy in hindsight, but, these markets that tend to come back a bit. But I've messed around with these channels today, and I've found it very hard to find something that I'm confident enough to trade. But generally, I don't do aggressive trades anyway. Some do, some don't. It doesn't suit me at the moment. Things may change. Yeah, some people are getting 3. Some people have got 3 charts. I suppose you've got 3 times more likely to. I suppose if it's a good setup, it'll work. I mean, how many charts can you get? I suppose what you could potentially do, you could have 4 smaller charts and just zoom tight into the price and just right click on that. Doesn't matter where you put a limit order on the page, on the chart, it'll pop up on every chart because it's the ES. So that may be an option. Maybe an option just to put 2 on here, just to get 2, one small one there, and literally, divide them in half and just zoom into the price action. And then if you get a better setup on this one, might be something I'll look at. Because I have seen other traders that have taken some trades today with a lot better signal bars. Well, you think about it. That trade there, that wasn't on my chart. I changed it to, I think, 7 days or 5, and then reloaded it, and that popped up. And the reason I did it is because I saw a trade that some guy took. Let's see if I can find it. Trending days are the hardest. Yeah, they are, mate. You think they'd be nice. I mean, what I will say is if you can get a really strong setup, you've got a good chance of making some money out of those days. But yeah, and not only that, we spend most of our time trading range days, so we're kind of probably a little bit more competent when it comes to them. Where's this setup that I saw someone take? I mean, look at that one. I don't know what guy took that one, but look at that. He's up 21 points there. I don't know where he got in. Oh, down here. Was that the one? Look at all that lot. God, I wish I had the confidence to stay in for 21 points. Great if you got your own money. Not so good if you're Apex. Just trying to find that trade that someone else took when it looked really nice. Was that it? No. Okay. Oh, that was it. Well, it wasn't a trade he took, but the actual setup. I mean, that was lovely. I'm surprised he didn't take that. Nice channel up, 2 nice legs down, and that's my chart, the smaller chart. So I reloaded it, and I had more or less the same chart. I mean, how nice is that for 2 legs? 2 nice. I'd have 100% taken that, and you'd have been in and out on this on the second bar. So it might be worth just literally dividing, I don't know, I may get another one and just literally, you don't need to, all you need to do is literally just zoom into the price action and just keep moving it and moving it with it. And then when you get a setup, take whichever one. Because if I right click and open a buy order here,
submitted.
It's on both charts. It's there. So where I move it, it doesn't matter which chart it's on.
Order cancelled.
So that might be an option to just give you an extra chance. I don't know, some guy called Alex, but he had, it was a lovely setup that I never had it. This was the setup I had, the little channel with a break. As far as I'm concerned, there's no setup there, but look at the difference. If I sort of, you can see the area there, but look at the difference there. Look at that compared to this. There's nothing here, is there? But there, two lovely legs down, right off the midline, double bottom there, push straight up nice. So it's just a different chance, but bigger stop. Well, not necessarily. I just trade whichever chart. I mean, if I traded that one, I'd have the normal, I'd jump in there, and I'd have the normal, look at that, it's 2 points, including a tick above and below. But what I'm saying is, because it's a different chart, I haven't got the setup there. That was my bar, which you couldn't have taken. But it's exactly the same chart, but just with end of day selected. They say, sorry, deselected, and I've changed that to 7 days. And then you get a slight different. Yeah. The one that you can see on your left. There, I'll zoom right into it there. That 2 legs back. That's exactly the same as this on the bigger chart. Yeah, if I do it with a circle, just in case. So that's what I've got there. And exactly the same place on the smaller chart. There. So just by having that different thing selected, look how nice of 2 legs that was. 2 leg down, really nice legs. You bought that one, worked here on the bigger chart, absolutely nothing. And that's the beauty of having the 2 charts. You just get a second crack of the whip. So we have now made a new eye, which it almost seemed like we were going to really. So it's a shame we didn't have a better setup there, because if we would have done, being off that bottom, I'd have held on to that. And I'd have followed it up. In these trending days, if you can get a setup. Same there, whether you'd have taken that one. A couple did. I left it. Marco left it. I think Taylor did as well. But if you'd have taken that one, I mean, look at that potential. You follow up to these and then just go up to each bar, to there, and then to there, and then there, and then there. Look, you're not out. That's where you'd have got taken out for 14 points. That's 7 trades for me. So I wonder now whether we'll have a second leg. I'm about done, I think, anyway. I've been going for 3 hours and 45 minutes, which is a longer day for me. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up here by the end of the night. So I am sorted for the day, folks. It's been a quiet week. 1 trade this week. $2,000 plus the $870 I'd made today. So just under $3,000 for the week. Doesn't sound terrible. But on 20 accounts, it's not brilliant. It's about $100 per... No, about $150 per account on average. But it's been a very crap week, to be fair. There has been a couple of trades that I could have taken, but I am going to start doing an extra hour and a half from Monday. So look, I'll leave you there, folks. I appreciate all your comments. Have a great weekend. If you're carrying on trading today, best of luck. You can get a setup. You may do well, but have a great weekend. Stay safe, and then we'll chat again on Monday. Bye for now.